Chapter 41 What is a lion with a big mouth? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sporting Gijón doesn't have many options, they are always used to defending away from home. The home dressing room of the Rose Garden Stadium, Pellegrini said to his players. But we can't take it lightly. They have a certain counterattack ability, so, our two central defenders can't press up. We must contain their counterattack line as soon as possible. That the two main central defenders nodded after hearing the words. The duel between the teams in the middle and lower ranks is sometimes like this, and it is likely to become an anxious battle where both sides do not want to make progress. For example, now, Sporting Gijón made up their minds to set up the bus, and Malaga, who did not have much bus-breaking ability, did not dare to press too hard to avoid being counterattacked by the opponent. Therefore, if there are no accidents, this kind of competition is generally not easy to see. But now Malaga can have a player to create some surprises. If the opponent shrinks the defense, it means that we can have a lot of time to control the ball in the front court. Pellegrini looked at Yi Luo when he said this. Yellow, your position can be more flexible, look for their weak points and ask for the ball to make a bold breakthrough. Create more opportunities for positioning the ball in the front court. The set-piece attack in the front court is also a good way to break the dense defense. Yi Luo nodded again and again. No problem, boss. Pellegrini nodded, took a deep breath and said, for us, at this stage, no matter whether we win against any opponent, we only get 3 points. Half the season is almost over, and we only got 9 points. This result is absolutely impossible to support us to complete relegation in La Liga. The victory over Real Madrid is a very good opportunity. This must be the beginning of Malaga's bottoming out. We will score points one by one. Only when we get enough points for relegation can we talk about other things. Pellegrini said nothing too sensational, because this game requires patience. Although Malaga has players like Yi Luo, the overall strength lies here, and there is no capital to be proud of. Sporting Gijón need to avoid relegation. Why doesn't Malaga need it? Although it is said that in this winter transfer window, the new boss will definitely invest heavily, but it is hard to say how effective the investment will be. Neither Pellegrini nor the players of the team can count on the winter transfer window to buy someone can rebound. Before that, any point is extremely precious. Yi Luo is the first time to set foot in Malaga's home stadium, Malaga Rose Garden Stadium. The stadium limit once attracted 10 people to watch Shakira's concert. However, on the occasion of a football match, it is definitely not allowed to let so many people in. In fact, for safety reasons, the stadium is usually not allowed to be completely crowded. About 75 tickets are released for Malaga's home games, but usually not all of the tickets can be sold. The home team has about fans, and the visiting team usually has several thousand. The overall attendance rate is around %. When Yi Luo entered the field, the cheers of the fans of the home team suddenly roared like a volcano, and the hot magma shot into the sky. Welcome to our number 41, yeah. Yellow. Led by a live DJ, all the fans chanted Yi Luo's name. Yi Luo turned his head to watch the thunderous applause, and his desire for the game couldn't help but become stronger. This may be the encouragement brought by the home court. The camera of the TV broadcast locked on Yi Luo. His close-ups appeared on television screens. Longwa National Television broadcast the game without any suspense, although Atlético Madrid's game started at the same time in this round, but the vast majority of Longwa fans definitely want to watch this game. Because there are players from Longwa playing in this game. Everyone's belief and desire for football are projected onto these Longwa players who play in the 5 major leagues. As long as there are 5 major league games where players from Dragon Country play, on the match day, Dragon Country will definitely be able to occupy the first place in ratings, and now, Yi Luo is the only player in the 5 major leagues abroad among Longwa players. All this huge attention fell on Yi Luo. Yellow started without any suspense. This is his second consecutive start in La Liga. I hope he can continue his performance against Real Madrid in the last round and score again. Duan Xian's voice also reached the ears of the fans who watched the live broadcast of the game through the TV. Come on! Yi Luo! In the hearts of almost every fan, they are silently cheering for Yi Luo. and in the boxes of the cheering Rose Garden, some people are looking forward to Luo's wonderful performance. That was Mendes, who had just signed a temporary commission with Luo. Next to Mendes is the general manager of the team, Fernando Sanz. Sanz had a wry smile on his face. "Jorge, do you know how exaggerated your condition is? Although my boss is rich, he can't possibly agree to this condition." "Why is it impossible? If you spend tens of millions to keep a superstar, it doesn't matter who loses and who wins." Mendes spread his hands and said, "Who made us not bound by professional contracts?" Sanz shook his head and said, "Of course I know his value. But he is still dissatisfied. You look at your conditions, 1,000 million euros in signing fee, 1,000 million euros in annual salary after tax, only signed a 4-year contract, plus the liquidated damages of up to 6,000 million, the goal award, the winning award, and the appearance fee are all double the current highest level in Malaga. Such contracts are for the really big names. Don't you think my client is not famous enough?" Mendes smiled. "Fernando, don't think that he is the one who takes advantage. If Malaga can't keep Yellow, do you know how much loss it means? 4-year contract, 6,000 million liquidated damages, there will definitely be teams who will pay directly. If the liquidated damages are taken away from him, Malaga only earns but not loses." "I want to make more money," Sanz thought. While the two were talking, the match had already begun. As soon as Sanz looked up, he saw Luo cruising to the middle to get the ball, then turned around and volleyed directly. The football flew close to the turf, hit a defensive player's foot and was refracted, and got into the net from the other side. 1-0. It's only been 2 minutes since the game started. Malaga broke the iron barrel array of Sporting Gijón. The smile on Mendes's face looked a little smug. "Well, my brother." Sanz shook his head helplessly, tangled. Of course he wants Malaga to win, but if Luo's performance in these few games is too good, then there is no reason to lower the price. Do you really want to agree to Mendes' conditions? End of this chapter. Chapter 42. Goals must be handsome, celebrations must be handsome. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course Mendes knew, for a club like Malaga, Luo is underage. This salary is indeed an exaggeration, but he is not asking for a price, but really thinks that Malaga is likely to accept this price. In the end, it is the new owner of Malaga who brings confidence to Mendes. If a team like Malaga wants to rise with gold dollars like Chelsea did back then, they have to buy horse bones with thousands of dollars. Anyway, Mendes is not in a hurry. His client's only request is a big contract. It didn't say that he had to sign with Malaga. Anyway, Luo only has a non-binding youth training contract with him now. As long as his performance is good enough, Malaga will always be passive. If this matter is delayed until the winter window opens, then the pressure on Malaga will be unprecedented. From now until the opening of the winter transfer window, for Sanz, the general manager of Malaga, it is a process of continuous accumulation of pressure. What stands out is the ability to resist pressure. Mendes rose from his seat to applaud Yellow's goal. "Brilliant goal, isn't it?" Sanz looked at the playback on the TV in the box. "I saw Luo suddenly cruising from the side to the center, and after receiving the pass, he slammed the ball to the right with his left foot, and completed a shot before the defensive player came up. The action of connecting is fast and smooth. At the same time, luck was also very good. This shot hit the opponent's foot and was refracted, just enough to make the goalkeeper, who had already handed over his focus. Completely helpless, Malaga quickly took the lead at home. Indeed, Sanz was applauding too. With Luo around, at least the pressure on competition is much less. Scoring a goal at home so early, the possibility of winning this game is also very high. At this time, the entire Rose Garden Stadium was shouting Luo's name. After scoring the goal, Luo rushed to the sidelines excitedly. Came a slippery knee. When he slid near the corner flag, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It's not in vain that I have practiced countless times of kneeling and celebrating in the virtual arena. You have to be handsome to score a goal, and of course you have to be handsome to celebrate. Luo opened his arms to enjoy the cheers from the home fans. At this time, he is the darling of the Rose Garden Stadium. Behind him, Malaga's players swarmed. Malaga, which has fallen to the bottom, has finally reversed the downward trend and started to rise against the trend, and is about to enter the track of victory. The morale of the players has also been unprecedentedly boosted. On the sidelines, the head coach of Sporting Gijón, Preciado, is now frowning, with helplessness and entanglement on his face. Originally thought that the rhythm of this game would be an anxious offensive and defensive drill, but who would have thought that within 2 minutes of the opening, their own iron barrel formation would be pierced. The one who scored the goal was Yi Luo, the defensive target he emphasized before the game. It wasn't an absolute chance, but Yi Luo's shot still sent the ball into Sporting Gijón's goal. Preciado shook his head. What can he do in the face of such a conceded goal? This is a typical ball planet. It seems that your defense line has no loopholes, but a flash of the personal ability of the other star will take away the game. Now for Sporting Gijón, the game will become extremely difficult, because in the face of Malaga, a direct competitor for relegation, it is impossible for Sporting Gijón to simply admit defeat and lose 3 points to the opponent, thinking that if this game loses, then Malaga the ranking will rise by 1, kicking Sporting Gijón into the relegation zone. Preciado stood on the sidelines and watched for a while, and quickly made a tactical change. He began to press the Sporting Gijón players a little bit higher, and fought Malaga in the midfield. The scene of the game did become anxious for a while. The entanglement between the two sides in the midfield made the game fragmented. Neither team had too many creative players in the midfield, and both sides were pecking at each other, but the only difference is, there are stars here in Malaga. As long as the ball is broken, they will find Yi Luo immediately, and Sporting Gijón's players pressed forward. Yi Luo also got more space and had more room to play, number 30 in the game for 2 minutes. Malaga's second goal came naturally. After leading the ball from the left, Yi Luo swept the ball towards the penalty spot with his left foot. Malaga midfielder Juanito puts his foot in the back row and shoots. Soccer hits the net. 2-0. Pellegrini on the sidelines couldn't help shouting when he saw the goal, because this means a successful offensive display of Yi Luo's tactical system. Yi Luo, as the strong side, attracted the defense and then sent a pass to the weak defense, completing this finish. This shows that Yi Luo is not a pure scorer. He has the consciousness and ability to cooperate with his teammates, and this awareness, in turn, has greatly improved Yi Luo's personal performance. I believe that after this goal is conceded, the Sporting Gijón players will not dare to let go of other Malaga players. Yi Luo will be able to get a more relaxed space. Before the first half was over, Yi Luo already had 1 goal and 1 assist. 8 minutes into the second half, Sporting Gijón, who tried to counterattack, was hit again. Malaga made a steal from the backcourt and launched a counterattack. Yi Luo got the ball and dribbled the ball forward along the wing. He flicked his right foot at the front of the penalty area, and the football fell to the right side of the penalty area. The following striker Adinho stopped the ball comfortably, and still had time to look at the goalkeeper's position before shooting, because the only 3 Sporting Gijón defenders left in the backcourt were all blocked. Yi Luo attracted the defense. With such a comfortable shooting space, how could Adinho, a professional player, easily miss the opportunity? He volleyed with his right foot and sent the ball into the far corner. The goalkeeper is too slow to react to this kind of shot. 3-0. Malaga ended the suspense, but this is not the final score. Game number 8:03 minutes. It was Yellow's breakthrough that caused a foul by Sporting Gijón's players in the penalty area, and the referee gave Malaga a penalty. As the core, Yi Luo is of course Malaga's first penalty shooter, and he also stood on the penalty spot with the ball in his arms, facing the various small actions of the Sporting Gijón goalkeeper. Yi Luo just smiled and looked confident, which made the opponent feel a little panicked. With the whistle of the referee, Yi Luo runs up. There is a rhythm change in the middle, after the goalkeeper flies out sideways, then pushed the ball to the middle with a light arch. Penalty kick easily scored. 4-0. With Yi Luo's 2 goals and 2 assists, Malaga returned to the home court and won an unprecedented victory. End of this chapter. Chapter 43: The Last Pyramid That Crushed the Camel. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the stands, many scouts were writing in their notebooks. This game also allowed the scouts to see the power of Yi Luo as a breakthrough point. His breakthrough is almost unstoppable, with a perfect fusion of speed, skill, and rhythm. A talented player with speed, skill, first-class sense of the ball, and superb shooting skills soared into the sky like a rocket, and suddenly became the focus of the scouting department of almost every wealthy team. In addition to scouts, reporters are also preparing. the whistle blew as the game ended, the camera's lens locked onto Yi Luo for the first time. And the media reporters who had been on the sidelines for a long time were eager to eat, and immediately rushed to Yi Luo on the court. Yellow. Yellow. I heard that Florentino has contacted Malaga, will you join Real Madrid? Guardiola did not deny the question of Barcelona offering you a professional contract. Are you interested in playing with Messi? Many giants in the Premier League have extended an olive branch to you. Are you leaving Malaga? For a while, Yi Luo, who was the best player in the game, stood in front of the background board full of sponsor logos, and the media asked questions one after another. Yi Luo was actually facing this kind of situation for the first time. Fortunately, his temporary client, Mendes, sent a media publicist to teach Yi Luo some skills in dealing with the media. In fact, there is nothing difficult, just say some ambiguous words, for example now, Yi Luo said with a smile. I will respect the contract between me and Malaga. I am very happy here. On the TV screen, Malaga boss Abdullah Arthani saw Yellow's interview. He frowned, respect the contract. His contract has only one youth training contract. It is quite respectful to leave 50 youth training compensation fees and leave. Immediately, Abdullah Al-Sani immediately called the general manager of the club. Why hasn't the contract been done yet? We need a big contract to show Malaga's ambitions. Now that oil prices are at a high point, these oil consortiums are very willing to invest money. Boss, their asking price is too high. If we fully comply with their request, the difficulty of signing people in the winter window may be beyond imagination. Sands explained, to meet Yi Luo's contract requirements, Malaga, who is backed by a big financial backer, can do it, but after the winter window to buy people, those players are likely to refer to Yi Luo's contract to increase the price. This would create additional complications for Thornton's job, unless that Yi Luo can show the data that makes all the players embarrassed to match the target. Arzani frowned. He really hopes to keep Yi Luo alive as the iconic figure of his team, a first-class star who came out of Malaga's youth academy, although it is said that he did not stay at the Malaga youth academy for a long time, but a few years later, no one will object to saying that he is a product of Malaga's youth training. European teams pay attention to this. The banner and the soul are from his own youth academy, which can silence all those who try to attack Malaga as an upstart. Mr. White Turban doesn't like to hear the word upstart. You can talk slowly, but I only have one request. Before the winter transfer window opens, finalize Yi Luo's professional contract. Abdullah Arzani already complained in his heart that he, the general manager, was a bit petty. Isn't it just money? Perhaps it is this kind of local tyrant style that is not very cost-effective, which planted the bane that Malaga will be banned from the European war for violating the Financial Fair Play Act in the future. Time is running out for Thornton, after the end of the number 15 league round. What followed was the first leg of the fifth round of the Copa del Rey against Sevilla. Malaga chose a certain degree of rotation in this game because the team was under too much pressure to relegation and could not lose points in the league. Malaga, who played at home, was finally defeated by Sevilla 10-. Yellow, who came off the bench in the th minute of the second half, scored a goal to save the team's face. Then came the number 16 round of the league. The team played away against Mallorca. In this game, Yi Luo started the game and scored a goal to break the deadlock in the second half to help the team take the lead. At the end of the game, Yi Luo passed the breakthrough tore through the opponent's defense and completed an assist. In the Copa del Rey in the middle of the week, Pellegrini didn't even take the main players to Seville. As a result, the team lost, away and was eliminated from the Copa del Rey. However, for the fans of Malaga, it is a pity that the Copa del Rey was eliminated, because the thickness of the Malaga team is not enough to support the two-line battle. After a week of rest, the team won another victory in the away game against Osasuna in the number 17 round of the league. With Yi Luo's long shot in the number 709 minute of the second half, Malaga defeated Osasuna, away, take 4 consecutive victories in the league. They defeated Real Madrid, Sporting Gijón, Mallorca and Osasuna respectively, and Yi Luo participated in 4 league games and 1 Copa del Rey game during this period, starting 4 times and 1 as a substitute. At the league level, 7 goals were scored in 4 games, although he did not win the Copa del Rey game when he came off the bench, he still helped the team score goals when he came off the bench. Participated in 5 games, each of which has a goal. This already put Sands under a lot of pressure, because there are only 2 games left in the first half of the league, both at home, namely League number 18 against Almeria and League number 19 against Atlético Madrid. For Sands, he can no longer bear the pressure. If Yi Luo's problem is not resolved until the match against Atlético Madrid, he himself has no confidence in Yi Luo's signing. He thinks that the number 19 league round will be in the winter after the transfer window opened. Before the start of the number 18 league round, Mendes also had an exchange with Yi Luo. Mendes told Yellow that if Yellow can perform well in the game against Almeria, it is impossible for Malaga to delay the signing time until after the number 19 league game against Atlético Madrid. In fact, for Yi Luo, the first choice is to stay in Malaga because this is a relatively stable and familiar environment. In these 2 or 3 seasons, he can get core treatment and stable playing opportunities here. If it can also be satisfied in terms of salary and treatment, then what reason is there to leave? So at the beginning of the game against Almeria, Yi Luo showed super enthusiasm, reach out for the ball frequently, and Almeria is actually focusing on defending Yi Luo, but helpless. Yi Luo, who had beaten Chicken Blood, quickly broke Almeria's defense line to pieces. Game number 208 minutes, Yi Luo swayed the defense in the penalty area and volleyed from a small angle to the top corner, opening his scoring account in this game. Game number 403 minutes, the second goal came. It was a kick on the penalty area line, and the football drew a wonderful arc and got into the dead corner. 2-0. Malaga is about to usher in its own 5-game winning streak in the league. The second half, Yi Luo got a single-handed chance in the number 708 minute of the game. The iconic pendulum passed the goalkeeper and pushed the empty goal. 3-0. Malaga seal the victory. In the 806th minute of the game, Yi Luo, who performed a hat-trick, was replaced and enjoyed the cheers and applause of the fans alone. At the same time, this is also the head coach's love for Yi Luo, because Almeria, who was 3 goals behind, played a little anxiously and his movements became very rough. In order to avoid Yi Luo's injury, he chose to replace him. On the box at home, Sands is also applauding Yi Luo's performance. He knows, with this hat-trick, he couldn't take it anymore, scored 6 consecutive games and scored 10 goals in 5 league games. This efficiency, this ability, enough to make the giants of European football snap up. If you don't do it again, then Malaga will probably have to watch Yi Luo switch to a wealthy family. This hat-trick was the straw that broke the camel's back. Do not. It is the last pyramid that crushed the camel. Crap, the camel was crushed into a pulp. End of this chapter. Chapter 44. Fully accept Yi Luo's initiative. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The game is over. The game is over. With Yi Luo's hat-trick, Malaga defeated Almeria 21-15 at home, winning 5 consecutive victories in the league. They now have points and rank no in the league name. Ahead of them are Deportivo, Real Sociedad, and Hercules, who all scored 22 points. From ranking second to last in the league to climbing to the middle of the league standings, Malaga only took 5 games. And all these changes stem from the birth of this genius from the Dragon Kingdom, that the referee blew the whistle to end the game. Andres, the narrator of Kobe Radio, stared at the close-up of Yi Luo on the monitor and shouted. 5 league games, 10 goals. 6 games, 11 goals. Yi Luo is now the absolute core of Malaga, one of the 3 players with the highest scoring efficiency in La Liga. What does 10 goals mean? It means that Yi Luo has now climbed to number 3 in the league scorer list. Second only to Cristiano Ronaldo's 18 goals and Leo Messi's 16 goals, behind him is Villa with 9 goals, Pedro with 8 goals and Athletic Bilbao center Llorente with 8 goals. 5 games, Yi Luo has approached the position of Messi and Ronaldo. It's unbelievable. He has risen like a rocket. If a good performance in one game can be attributed to luck, then scoring goals in 5 consecutive games can only show his strength. Andres' views are also those of many scouts, at least now in the stands. There is definitely more than one scout calling his boss, 5 days to go until the winter transfer window opens, that if you want to make a move, it's time to prepare for the competition. If it is said that a match was performed supernaturally, then some people may attribute it to the fact that Yi Luo was in particularly good condition and lucky in this match. In history, there is no such thing as a player who was born out of nowhere, then flashed in the pan, and disappeared from everyone. However, Yi Luo, after his hat-trick against Real Madrid, he scored goals in consecutive matches against Sporting Gijón, Sevilla, Mallorca, Osasuna, and Almería. This cannot be explained by luck. Moreover, it can be clearly seen from these few games that Yi Luo has quickly integrated into Malaga's system, and the cooperation between him and his teammates has become more and more effective. The offensive system is running very smoothly. 17 is old, turned out, the core of the field. Such a talent, such a growth rate, there are not many in the history of football that can be compared with it. No doubt, Yi Luo, who performed the hat-trick, once again got the best of the audience, and he is also very likely to be the most favorable contender for the best player in La Liga in December. The only ones who can compete with him are Messi and Ronaldo, two superstars who also performed well in December. According to general practice, when there is little difference in personal data, the influence on the team and the strength of the team itself must be considered in this regard. Yi Luo obviously has the advantage, because Malaga is too weak to be able to compete in such a situation. It is far more difficult for a team originally ranked in the relegation zone to obtain such data than Messi and Ronaldo, who play in super teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona. In 5 games, it is almost necessary to catch up with Messi and Ronaldo. Such a performance caused a global media blitz. All of a sudden, almost all the sports media were frantically reporting on Yi Luo. Media from Europe, China, even South America, and even Japan, South Korea, and other Asian regions. The sudden appearance of a supernova with the potential to even compete for the Golden Globe in Longwa shocked the Japanese and Korean media. All the time, Longwa football is defeated by Japan and South Korea, and the overall strength cannot be compared with these two teams. In terms of the number of players studying abroad, whether it is Japan or South Korea, it far exceeds Longwa. But now Yi Luo's enthusiasm is going to crush all the Japanese and Korean players playing in Europe. Now Japan's banner player in Europe is Shinji Kagawa, who played for Dortmund in the Bundesliga and won the Bundesliga halftime MVP. But anyone with a discerning eye can see that Yi Luo's potential far surpasses that of Xiangchuan. The flag player of South Korea studying abroad in Europe is Park Ji-sung, who played for Manchester United, but Park Ji-sung is more of a role player at Manchester United. With the increase of age and the increase of injuries, he now plays less and less time for the team. And Yi Luo's sudden birth seemed to overwhelm Kagawa, and he even had the momentum to catch up with Park Ji-sung in a straight line. After all, he is the core of a La Liga team. So the appearance of Yi Luo also made some Japanese and Korean media look a little sour. After all, the relationship between the three countries is very delicate, and in Europe, especially for those European teams, with the end of this league, all the Giants teams have already begun to make clear shots. The strength and stability shown by Yi Luo, who has scored goals in 6 consecutive games, has made the big Giants salivate. Barcelona was the first to be exposed for a clear shot. When Barcelona chairman Russell was interviewed by Daily Sport, he was asked this question by a reporter. Pep hopes to strengthen our left flank, and we may be able to form a powerful attacking trident of Yellow, Villa and Messi. Such a statement instantly detonated the media public opinion. It also made Malaga very dissatisfied. The general manager of the team, Sans, refuted Russell on social media, and yelled at the other party, "It is too arrogant and disrespectful to talk about players from other teams at will." However, who makes Barcelona a giant? Before and after each transfer window, there are countless players who are associated with the Giants. Russell's statement seemed to be a signal. On Real Madrid's side, the media soon began to expose information about Real Madrid, what Florentino personally instructed to bring Yellow to the Bernabeu, what Real Madrid's locker room is already talking about Yellow, and what Real Madrid captain Iker Casillas said in private that he welcomes Yellow to Madrid, and so on. There are even rumors that in this winter transfer window, Real Madrid will clean Diarra, who has little chance to play this season. These news are obviously released by Real Madrid themselves, to show his importance to Yi Luo, not only the two giants in La Liga, but teams in the Premier League, Serie A, and Bundesliga are in contact with Malaga and Yellow's temporary agent Mendes, before the winter transfer window opens. No one would have thought that the biggest transfer soap opera in the winter transfer window would be a player that no one would have thought of a month ago. But, for Malaga, they can't stand this soap opera. Sans has surrendered. He completely disarmed Mendes, said that he fully accepted Yi Luo's conditions and signed a contract with Yi Luo. Of course, the initiative to sign the contract is not in their hands, but in Yi Luo's. End of this chapter. Chapter 45. How dare you think? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea and other teams do have contact, but they position you as a potential new star, and it is impossible to promise you the main position. After Malaga notified Mendes that they could negotiate the conditions offered by Yi Luo Fong and hope to complete the signing as soon as possible, Mendes came to Malaga again and met with Yi Luo at the Chinese restaurant where the two parties signed a contract before. Mendes does hold a lot of offers from giants, but obviously, even if Yi Luo, who scored consecutive goals, is eye-catching, for those giants, they cannot match Malaga's conditions, not to mention the annual salary and signing fee. The first is the tactical positioning on the court. It is impossible for any giant today to promise Yi Luo the main position, let alone the core. Of course, this is not insurmountable. Yi Luo has the confidence to fight for it with his own strength, but under such a positioning, it is impossible for any giant to give a player who is positioned as a potential rising star an annual salary of more than million. So for Yi Luo, staying in Malaga has both a core position and a high salary, and even the new owner of this team is so rich this means that this team can buy a team in the transfer market. A batch of powerful players will be sent to enhance their strength. Yi Luo already knew that Pellegrini had given the team general manager Sans a suggestion to buy someone in the winter window. In this winter transfer window, Malaga's transfer budget is close to million. The four positions of central defender, defensive midfielder, offensive midfielder, and center must be strengthened, and it is said that they are all stars worth 2,000 million or more. In this case, Yi Luo can look forward to the future of staying in Malaga. Since this is the case, staying in Malaga is also a good choice. Yi Luo said. Mendes showed a smile on his face. Indeed, and there is a liquidated damages. If you want to leave, they won't be able to keep you. Besides, do you have anything to add to the contract? Mendes put the contract in front of Yi Luo. After Yi Luo looked at it carefully, he thought it was quite detailed, but after reading it again, he frowned. Why is there no winning prize? Winning bonus? Mendes was taken aback. Yes, the league championship, the Copa del Rey, the Champions League, etc. Ah, by the way, and if you qualify for the Champions League and Europa League this season, will you also get a bonus? But when Mendes heard this, he could not help but look Yi Luo up and down. What happened? Yi Luo raised his head and said. Mendes said, it is true. The general giants have these bonuses, but Malaga. Can't Malaga win the championship? Yi Luo asked. Mendes couldn't help laughing when he heard the words. That's right. What if it's football? Then tell them. In addition to winning the championship bonus, there is also a bonus for entering the European competition. Mendes laughed. There are also personal honors. Yi Luo touched his chin, for example, the best player in the league, the top scorer, etc. By the way, the Golden Boy Award, the Golden Globe Award, etc., should we also add it? Mendes stared at Yi Luo with monster eyes, then he couldn't help but smiled bitterly. Do all of you talented players have the same idea? Golden Boot? The best in the league? Golden Globe? How dare you think about it? You always have to have a dream. Yi Luo grinned. Okay, anyway, it's a trivial matter, and they won't object. Of course I won't object. When Sans received Mendes's call and heard Yi Luo's new request, his heart was in his throat, but when he heard that there were various champions and personal honor bonuses, the expression on Sans's face also became weird. Does this kid think he is signing a contract with Real Madrid or Barcelona? Malaga. Champions League, Copa del Rey. He really dared to think about it. This is La Liga, a La Liga dominated by Real Madrid and Barcelona, can the rule of these two giants be easily overthrown? There are also golden boots, best forwards, best players, etc. With those two monsters on top of his head, he is a young star. Can he think about these? There are really some, fantastic, so when faced with Yi Luo's request for a bonus, he agreed without hesitation. Prize money for the league championship, 200 million euros, King's Cup prize money, 100 million euros, Champions League prize money, 300 million euros. In addition, there are bonuses for personal honors, which are also full of bonuses. Anyway, these seem to be nothing in songs. Things that are impossible to get, and take 10,000 steps back. If Malaga really got these, it's really worth it to give Yi Luo this little money. So Sands agreed very readily, and he couldn't wait, worrying that Yi Luo would go back on his word. Soon, after the two parties reached an agreement on the general direction, the rest of the details were quickly finalized. After an agreed time to sign the contract, Sands breathed a sigh of relief. This Dragon Kingdom genius belonging to Malaga finally stayed. When Pellegrini heard the news of Yi Luo's signing, he was also greatly relieved. If it weren't for Yi Luo in these few league games, Malaga would never have won consecutive victories. Yi Luo is the core of Malaga's current field. His signings are also matched with players according to Yi Luo's characteristics. He wants to completely build Yi Luo into the absolute core of his team. If Yi Luo doesn't sign the contract, he will leave directly in Dongchuan. Wouldn't it be empty for me to fetch water from the bamboo basket? Yi Luo's stay gave Pellegrini more confidence in this season, with a swift push from the Malaga side. 2011 1 month 2 day. The day before the League No. 19 round against Atlético Madrid, Yi Luo and his agent Mendez, who has signed a long-term contract with him, completed the signing of his professional contract at the training base of the Malaga first team. After seeing Yi Luo sign his name on the contract, Sands breathed a sigh of relief. Subsequently, Yi Luo, Sands and Pellegrini took a group photo holding the jersey with the number 10 printed on it. Almost immediately, Malaga's official website and official accounts on online platforms couldn't wait to release this photo. We are very pleased to announce that the gem of Malaga, our talented player Yi Luo, has officially signed a professional contract with the team. Welcome to our new and right now, in Yi Luo's mind, the sound of the system rang. Ding! Congratulations, you have completed the main mission, the first professional contract, the mission completion score, A level. Ding! Congratulations on getting the mission reward, Fusion Point *9, A level random treasure chest *1. Ding! You have triggered a new main task, to qualify for the Champions League, that the content of the system will gradually decrease, mainly focusing on writing competitions, supplemented by daily life. End of this chapter. Chapter 46 Atlético de Madrid Strikers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fuck. It's number 10. Brilliant. The Prince is treated, that when Malaga's official announcement was posted, almost immediately, many media reprinted the report. The fans also learned the news that Yi Luo had signed a professional contract with Malaga for the first time. Of course, the details of the contract cannot be disclosed by the media in the first place. Fans can only see the photo of Yellow standing in the middle, Malaga's general manager Sands and coach Pellegrini standing on both sides. The number on the jersey is particularly eye-catching. Number 10 is undoubtedly the most legendary number in the football world. Malaga's number 10 originally belonged to the veteran Apogno, but the midfielder has been recovering from injuries for a long time this season, and his comeback has been delayed. In addition, Pellegrini has made it clear that he will play in the midfield to a certain extent. With the exchange of blood, old wounds like Aponio will definitely be cleaned up. Aponio, who was recovering from injury, also agreed to give up his jersey number to Yi Luo after the club promised that he would not set up any obstacles for him to leave the team in the winter transfer window, so now his number falls on Yi Luo, after seeing that Yi Luo was actually wearing the number 10. Local fans in Malaga and fans in other parts of Europe did not feel that there was anything special, but the Dragon Country fans were shocked, even a little flattered. To use the headline of a certain online media, this is the first Longwa player ever to wear the number 10 jersey in the 5 major European leagues. Brilliant. Dick. It's so dick. For a while, Dragon Country fans can only describe their inner shock and surprise with one word: dick, in Dragon Country. The football craze sparked by Yi Luo continues, especially the incident between him and the Football Association and Li Tai has just passed, and when the scum was still emerging, he was now stimulated by the signing of the contract, which led to another strong memory in public opinion. Not just fans, even ordinary people in Longwa probably know the blackness of the Football Association. Therefore, as Yi Luo's heat is rising, TV stations, newspapers, and online media, especially those online self-media who have smelled the traffic code, are frantically reprinting Yi Luo's news. Yi Luo is now the hottest keyword on the Longwa internet. As long as Yi Luo is mentioned and the news about the Football Association is mentioned, there will be traffic and enthusiasm. This explosive traffic has made many companies pay attention to Yi Luo, the latest sports star. Many evaluation agencies are evaluating the value of the flow represented by Yi Luo itself. Obviously, Yi Luo is about to become the hottest super sports star in Longwa. Why is the NBA so popular in Longwa? It has something to do with the superstar performance of the female Zhao Ryu in the United States back then, and football itself is the #1 sport in the world, and Yi Luo doesn't need to hit the superstar statistics of the female chairman Zhao Ryu to win the attention of countless sports fans. You don't need to buy a hot search, you can get a hot search every week. His commercial value is immeasurable. A-level random treasure chest. After Yi Luo returned to his residence, he couldn't wait to turn on the system. The fusion point at 9 o'clock has been fused, and the current fusion progress is 42%. For Yi Luo, obtaining 42% of the peak abilities of the three Ronaldos is enough to make him the top of La Liga. All he lacks is game experience, and this game experience, the props of the virtual arena can greatly make up for it. These days, Yi Luo has 2 games against Real Madrid in the virtual arena every day. His game experience and experience in physical fitness distribution are steadily increasing. The A-level random treasure chest can open some things that are very useful for Yi Luo's current stage. Therefore, Yi Luo did not hesitate and directly chose to open the treasure chest. Ding! Congratulations, you have obtained an A-level prop, A-level physical badge, A-level physique badge, A-level item effect, Constitution +10, physique greatly affects the ability to resist injuries. Durability, permanent. The props to improve your physique and make yourself more durable are indeed very practical at this stage. Yi Luo equipped it immediately, and then looked at the new main task. Enter the Champions League, difficult. Yi Luo turned on the computer and looked at the current La Liga standings. After 18 league rounds, with a wave of 5 consecutive victories, Malaga's points came to 21 points. To qualify for the Champions League, at least number 4 in the league is required. La Liga has 3.5 points to qualify for the UEFA Champions League. It ranks in the top 3 in the league and directly participates in the UEFA Champions League. Ranked 4th must participate in a qualifying match to get tickets for the UEFA Champions League group stage. Now the top 4 teams in La Liga are Barcelona with 49 points, Real Madrid with 47 points, Villarreal with 36 points, and Valencia with 34 points. Barcelona and Real Madrid are obviously the best, and they are the only 2 teams in the La Liga Championship zone this season. So Malaga can actually compete with Villarreal and Valencia, 12 points behind number 4 Valencia. In the half league, we have to chase 12 points. One can imagine how difficult it is, not to mention, Valencia and Villarreal are not the only ones competing for the 2 Champions League places. The Spaniard who scored 32 points, Atlético Madrid who scored 29 points, and even Getafe who scored points, all have a chance to hit the top 4. If someone says now, Malaga's goal is to compete for 4, no one would believe that. This is really a little too crazy. I want to lead a team like Valencia by points in half a season schedule. Do you think that Malaga is Real Madrid and Barcelona? These 2 teams can indeed do it. The half game is not over yet. Barcelona leads number 4 Valencia by points, and Real Madrid leads by points. It is not surprising that they lead by more than points at the end of the season, but can Malaga do it? Honestly, Yi Luo didn't even have much confidence himself, because the difference of 12 points was too big. It can only be done 1 game at a time. Yi Luo shut down the system. By the way, he looked at the information of his opponent in the next match. Atlético Madrid have just completed a coaching change. Former Atlético Madrid coach Manzano was fired and replaced by Argentine Simeone, and this game, it was Simeone's first game in charge of Atlético Madrid. The reputation of the Sheets corps is great. Overseas, their reputation among La Liga teams may be second only to Real Madrid and Barcelona. However, Atlético Madrid's performance has not been good in recent seasons, and they were even in danger of relegation. But do you want to say that Atlético Madrid's lineup is poor? Not really, especially their forward group. When Yi Luo saw the three names, Fran, Agüero, and Diego Costa, in the tactical analysis data sent by Pellegrini, he couldn't help but gasped, they are quite famous. At his peak, he was a first-class striker, and Agüero was even ranked third in the world by a good person. As we all know, the number one and the second in the world are fixed 2 people, and the number of third in the world is at least 5, it could also be 10. Atlético Madrid has a strong lineup and has just completed a coaching change. As the saying goes, coaching changes are like changing knives. In addition, the guy who was replaced is called Simeone. This is an absolutely utilitarian coach. Smashed his debut as Atlético Madrid coach. This game is definitely not easy for Malaga, but for Yi Luo, this is also his first game after signing a professional contract, and he doesn't want to screw it up anyway. End of this chapter. Chapter 47: A Little Shock of Iron Football. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 47: A Little Shock of Iron Blood Football. Atlético Madrid Training Center. Inside the office of new Atlético Madrid coach Simeone, the iron-blooded coach from Argentina has iron-fisted means of running the army, but for him, Atlético Madrid, which has just taken over, has actually not yet had time to imprint Simeone in the future. The former head coach Manzano actually laid a very good foundation. Atlético Madrid's lineup is not bad. In the goalkeeper position, there is David De Gea, a talented goalkeeper. In the choice of central defenders, there are Godin, Domingos, Uchfalusi and other powerful players. There are international-level options such as Thiago, Reyes, and Raúl Garcia in the midfield. The striker is even better. Both Agüero and Forlan are top strikers. Diego Costa has a strong impact and has the potential to become a top striker. It can be said that this lineup is placed in La Liga, and it can also be said that it is quite high among the teams in the second tier after Barcelona and Real Madrid in the first tier. It is precisely because the team's paper lineup does look very powerful, so although Manzano led the team to the 6th place in the league, compared with the rankings of previous seasons, it has been greatly improved, but the current board chairman of the team, Enrique Cerezo, made the decision to fire Manzano after the team defeated Hercus, the opponent of the new coach Simeone as soon as he took office was Malaga, which had won 5 consecutive victories. It looked like it was putting quite a lot of pressure on Simeone. At this time in Simeone's office, he is leading his coaching team to watch a specially edited video. It's about Yi Luo's performance with the ball, all his touches, passes, dribbles, shots, etc. With the ball under his feet, were all edited out. Not too long, because of the full play, Yi Luo also played 6 games in La Liga, including 5 starting league games and 1 Copa del Rey game as a substitute. In these 6 games, almost as long as Yi Luo had the ball, it was edited out. In fact, there is another video of Yi Luo's performance in the whole game, but the time is too long, and Simeone can easily judge after watching Yi Luo's performance. Yi Luo is not a player who is good at off the ball the way players play, therefore, Yi Luo's biggest threat is when the football reaches his feet. Simeone has watched this video many times. For Simeone, coming to Atlético Madrid is regarded as a new starting point for his coaching career. He is planning to do a big job here. After all, in Simeone's view, on the one hand, Atlético Madrid has a solid lineup. On the other hand, Atlético Madrid has a good youth training system and scouting system. Their club size is also among the top in La Liga, so Atlético Madrid has the foundation for Simeone to realize his ambitions. Now in the standings, Atlético Madrid is not much behind the top 4, so for Atlético Madrid, the goal for the next season is also very clear, to compete for a qualification to participate in the Champions League. You know, participating in the UEFA Champions League for one season can get the team at least 6 UEFA Champions League group matches in the UEFA Champions League bonus and broadcast share. The income of this part is at least 3,000 million euros or more. The amount of this income is a huge sum of money for any team, therefore, Being able to participate in the UEFA Champions League can greatly increase the team's income in a single season, and correspondingly more funds can be invested in the transfer market. In addition, the exposure brought by participating in the UEFA Champions League is also conducive to the team signings. When many players choose a team, they tend to choose those teams that are eligible to participate in the UEFA Champions League. If unable to participate in the Champions League, even for a big club like Manchester United, there are times when signings don't go well. As the video plays to the end, TV black screen, Simeone looked at his assistants and said, "Gentlemen, the key to this game is actually how to curb yellow's performance." Hearing this, several of his assistants frowned tightly, but they never relax. Instead, it wrinkled even tighter. After watching Luo's game video repeatedly, the more they looked at it, the more terrifying this little guy was. The more you look at it, the more shocking it becomes. Speed, ball feel, breakthrough, and shooting are all quite good, that's all. What made them feel the most tricky and scary was that this little guy seemed to be in full condition to participate in every game. He hardly had any ups and downs. Not even the physical ups and downs that young players are most likely to experience, although Luo seems to have exhausted all his physical energy in every game. But when it came to the next game, it was like the game state at the beginning of the season after a break of 1 or 2 months. This guy's physical recovery ability is really terrible. Did you find out? Watching these few games together, you can find that the speed of this little guy's game experience improvement seems a bit too exaggerated. Almeria, he gave me the feeling of a mature player who has played a season or 2 in the top league. Simeone's assistant coach Herman Boggs said, frowning. His improvement rate is the fastest I have ever seen since I became a coach. Yeah, I can't see his shortcomings in terms of technology, and his physical fitness is good, and the level of sophistication in the game is also now. A tactical coach also shook his head and smiled wryly. Restrict Luo? Too difficult. Simeone frowned upon hearing this. All he thinks these days is how to win his first game as Atlético Madrid coach. Winning the first show will allow Simeone to get the support of Atlético Madrid players as much as possible and boost the morale of the team. But to win, Luo must be restrained. If Luo scored a hat-trick in this game like the last game, or against Real Madrid, it would be too difficult for Atlético Madrid to win. He looked at the frowning assistants, but smiled a little. It seems that this little guy's deterrence is strong enough. Maybe he does not have much shortcomings in personal skills, but this is a football game, not a one-on-one duel. Our opponent is Maharaja, not Luo alone. Simeone stood up, pulled over a whiteboard. Everyone found that among the goals without Malaga, there were long-range shots, counterattacks, and goals after breakthroughs, but a very important link was missing. Simeone turned his head and uttered one word heavily, setting the ball. This statement came out, the coaches present couldn't help but shine. Malaga's set-kick scoring efficiency is indeed not high, they have no high point, and they don't have any free-kick masters. So, this means that we can strengthen the defensive strength against Luo in this area. Brush, Simeone drew a large area between the front of the penalty area and the center line. Fouls are part of the game. Simeone said calmly, he wants to turn this game into a midfield strangle battle, deal with Luo through continuous fouls and small moves, and give Luo a little bit of iron-blooded football shock. End of this chapter. Chapter 48. I wish you good health. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With the approach of the number 19 round of La Liga, the media also looked forward to the focus of the upcoming number 19 round of the league. Malaga's home game against Atlético Madrid may not be many media reports before the game at other times, but this season is different, because the Malaga team is too eye-catching. They only scored 6 points in the first 13 rounds of the league. Then a wave of 5 consecutive victories scored 15 points, he directly rushed his ranking in the standings. From the bottom to the middle of the standings, moreover, Malaga, which has won 5 consecutive victories, has suddenly changed from a belly that seems to be bullied by anyone, to the hottest team in the current state, as Barcelona was tied by Deportivo in the last round of the league, ended a 6-game winning streak in the league. Now Malaga is the team with the strongest winning streak in the league. In addition, their new star Luo has just completed the signing of a professional contract. and their opponent Atlético Madrid has completed a coaching change. Therefore, there are still quite a lot to watch in this game. Of course, most of the media in Madrid support Atlético Madrid. They believe that after a coaching change, the team usually has a wave of coaching bonus period, and Malaga's book lineup is actually not strong. Their ability to continue their 5-game winning streak depends more on Luo's performance. The editor-in-chief of Aspen, who has old grudges with Pellegrini, listed the reasons for Atlético Madrid must win and Malaga must lose in his column. Malaga's winning streak inconclusive, because the opponents they defeated were all teams in the middle and lower reaches of the standings. The loss against Sevilla in the Copa del Rey proved that Malaga is actually incapable of having a head-on dialogue with the strong teams at the top of the standings. Yellow scored a hat-trick against Almeria, but what team is Almeria? This season's relegation favorites, similar to the image of Malaga before, so Malaga winning so many games in a row doesn't mean anything. Luo scored in 5 consecutive league games, which only shows that he has a good ability to abuse food. Many readers saw this kind of analysis, and immediately felt that it was quite reasonable. It is really not convincing to win some teams in the middle and lower reaches of the standings. Of course, at this time, everyone has forgotten Luo's performance in the first game against Real Madrid. How else to put it, the media is the uncrowned king. Sometimes they don't need to tell lies, but tell a part of the truth. At the pre-match press conference, a reporter with good deeds took this article by Lorites to ask Pellegrini for his opinion. Pellegrini showed a look of surprise on his face. If I remember correctly, Real Madrid is now ranked number 2 in the standings, right? Ability to abuse dishes. Is Real Madrid also a dish? Chilean engineer Pellegrini actually has a good temper, but when he was coaching Real Madrid, that Lorites was Pellegrini's number 1 opponent, so the two are now considered to be new and old grudges superimposed. Luo just suffered a catastrophe. With the media hype, this is neither the focus of the championship or the top 4. Nor is it an ordinary league where teams in the relegation zone fight to the death at the last moment. On the contrary, there is a little bit of the posture of the most watched game in this round. However, if it is said that in Spain, although this game has gained a lot of heat, it is still in the normal category, well, in Dragon Country, this game is the focus of most football fans' attention at the weekend. Even at the same time as this game, there was a strong dialogue in Serie A, the Milan Derby. However, the national television sports channel did not arrange a live broadcast of the Milan Derby. Instead, it chose the match between Malaga and Atlético Madrid at home. Even the fans of the two Milan teams did not have much objection to such an arrangement. Everyone wanted to see Luo score in the 7th consecutive game. The football craze triggered by Luo's successive goals continued to spread in the country of Longua. Even many people who didn't pay attention to football before started to talk about La Liga and Luo. The ratings of sports channels are also rising, and even several domestic online football portals are ready to spend a lot of money to buy the online broadcast rights of La Liga from CCTV. A close-up of Luo appeared on the TV, computer, mobile phone and other screens that could watch the live broadcast of the game. The Yellow competition day that everyone has been looking forward to for a week has begun again. Friends from the audience, welcome to the La Liga number 19 round broadcast by Xinglang Sports, the match between Malaga and Atlético Madrid at home. There is no suspense that Luo, who everyone cares about the most, will start again, ready to impact the individual consecutive goal scoring record for the 7th consecutive game. The commentator Zhang Jun's voice sounded. The commentator, who is famous for his professional commentary on the Premier League, has now also jumped to La Liga to explain Luo's game. It's about to start. Brother Jun's face. Can Sex Wave do some live streaming? It's stuck. There are too many people, it will break 1 million at once. The Champions League final is about this standard. The information in the comment area of the live broadcast room was swiping. Players from both sides lined up, shook hands, took pictures, and the captain picked sides. After a series of pre-match ceremonies were completed, with the whistle of the referee, the game officially begins. Yellow got the ball. Be careful. Oh, this Diego Costa. Another foul. Everyone can count. The game started less than 10 minutes ago. How many fouls did Atlético Madrid have? Zhang Jun's voice seemed a little anxious. On the TV screen, Luo got up from the ground and gestured 3 fingers at the referee. 3 times. 3 times. Why not give him a yellow card? Yi Luo protested loudly. Facing Yi Luo's protest, the referee on duty simply stopped and said to Yi Luo with a serious face, "Young man, I have my own standards and judgments. If you make such remarks again, I will give you a yellow card." Oh shit. Yi Luo greeted him in his mother tongue. "What did you say?" Of course the referee knew that what Yi Luo said was not good. "I wish you good health," Yi Luo said viciously in Spanish. 10 minutes into the game now, he never got the ball comfortably, because as long as he has the intention to take the ball, the Atlético Madrid players on the opposite side will immediately stick up and make a direct foul, pull people, step down. Sometimes there are some hidden little moves, among them is the opponent striker Diego Costa. Yi Luo looked at Diego Costa. This guy is a master of dirty sex in South America. The feet are black and dirty. It happens to be quite hidden. I don't know why I came to play football with this talent. And also play forward. Is his current position a striker? A striker who came to the midfield to do the dirty work. Seeing Yi Luo looking at himself, Diego Costa raised his head slightly, raised his chin, and showed a provocative look. End of this chapter. Chapter 49. A True Superstar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Yi Luo's eyes looking at himself, Diego Costa deliberately showed a provocative look. The only reason why he replaced Fran as a starting striker in this game was his fighting ability. Simeone spoke to him alone. Hope he comes to do some dirty work. It was to deal with Yi Luo. If it can make Yi Luo's mentality unbalanced and emotionally unstable, then he is the hero of Atlético Madrid in this game. Now seeing Yi Luo showing displeasure, not to mention how proud Diego Costa was, this little guy is powerful, but he is still not experienced enough, so he is easy to fall for, and what made Diego Costa even more satisfied was the cooperation of the referee. 3 consecutive fouls without a yellow card. This gave Diego Costa more room to attack. Yellow needs to control his emotions. Atlético Madrid's strategy seems to be very effective. They control Malaga's offensive organization through constant midfield fouls, cutting the game into pieces. Both sides have not organized yet. What an effective attack. The goalkeepers on both sides have not made any saves so far. Jean Jun in the live broadcast room shook his head and said, "This Diego Costa is too dirty. Is he here to play football or to wrestle? Atlético de Madrid is a majestic La Liga giant. Do you need to use this method? Damn it, this game is so ugly. This is not football at all." The fans of Longwa were also angry. At this moment, Madashin wrote a seemingly objective paragraph on his Weibo account. Fouls are also part of the game. If you can't even handle this scene, you can still be regarded as a first-class star. Honestly, there is nothing wrong with just looking at this sentence, but the fans are never wrong about things. You, Madashin, were the main force attacking Yi Luo before, and now you post this paragraph. It must be yin and yang. A large number of fans poured in, and there were hundreds of remarks at once, all of which were greetings to Ma's new female relatives. How polite. Just now, Atlético took advantage of a Malaga free kick error. Godin leaped high inside the penalty area and headed the ball out of the penalty area. Raúl Garcia took the ball and launched a long pass to launch a counterattack. After Reyes got the ball from the wing, he made a cross from the bottom, and Agüero inserted a push shot in the small penalty area and easily sent the ball to the goal. 0-1. Malaga, who are playing at home, are behind. Agüero. Goal. Beautiful counterattack. As expected, changing coaches is like changing a knife. Simeone's team scored in the number 12 minute of the game. Malaga, who played at home, fell behind. This is the first time they have fallen behind in these few games. Before that, there is a statistic that may give Malaga fans a chill. From last season to now, Malaga Canada didn't complete a single comeback and they lost most of the games where they conceded first. On the commentary, the commentators from all sides were eloquent, shouting for Atlético Madrid's goal. At the press booth, Lorites jumped from his seat, raised his arms and shouted. "That's it. That's it. They're just a relegation team." Rolitos yelled. Many people around him could not help but tilt their bodies to stay away from this well-known mad dog in the media world. On the sidelines, Pellegrini frowned. Atletico Madrid's current strategy is really a headache. Malaga's set-piece offensive ability is indeed not strong. On the one hand, they don't have any high points, and on the other hand, they don't have a master of direct free kicks. This gives Atletico Madrid the confidence to dare to foul at the front of the penalty area, and Luo's characteristics also require him to play to the maximum when he has the ball at his feet, and what worries Pellegrini even more, if Atletico Madrid gives a way to deal with Malaga. Then no surprise. This method will soon be copied by most other La Liga teams. Malaga's winning streak may end because of this, and the originally good state will also decline as a result, but let's talk about how to deal with Atletico Madrid's foul-strangling strategy now. Pellegrini really doesn't have much to do, because Malaga's strength on paper lies here. It is too demanding for Malaga players to control the scene under such a game rhythm. Taller, and to make matters worse, the team conceded the ball. This is really a leak in the house every night. Rain. Pellegrini couldn't help looking at Luo. What do we do now? Do we defend first in the first half? His assistant Marasca frowned aside. First make sure that you are only one goal behind, then find a way to adjust during the halftime break, and then exert strength in the second half. This is a very common idea. Pellegrini's gaze followed Luo all the time. Luo looked very angry, but his attention was still on the football. He ran forward immediately after kicking the ball, then turned back suddenly, and then slashed to the right, trying to get rid of the entanglement and catch the ball in an open space. His eyes are constantly sweeping the entire court, and his position is constantly moving. He didn't give up on himself and walk on the court because of the opponent's constant fouls. On the contrary, it seems more positive. Pellegrini took a deep breath. He wants to gamble. Old man, we're not doing anything, he said. Do nothing? Yes. Because we can rely on the stars now. Pellegrini pointed to yellow on the court and said. You're not worried that he's out of balance? Pellegrini was silent for a moment, and said, to be honest, I have some worries in my heart. But I want to take a gamble. Gamble? Yeah, I bet he is a real superstar. Malosca looked at Luo on the court. Superstar, very high request. But, if he is really a superstar, he will not lose control of his emotions because of this little setback. What if you lose the bet? Malosca still couldn't help asking. You lost the bet. Pellegrini thought about it, then spread his hands. Maybe this is the price of growth. The price of growth, use the loss of a game as the price? Malosca couldn't laugh or cry. Is this a bit too hasty? After Simeone on the other side celebrated the goal, he was also staring at Luo. Luo is the key to this game. Soon, Simeone sat back on the bench. We have to prepare for this game to be a tough one. Simeone said to his assistant. Assistant coach Herman Boggs was stunned. What are you worried about? I think our victory in this game is already obvious. Next, we can counterattack comfortably, and they have nothing to threaten. Means to our goal. Simeone's eyes are still fixed on the pitch. I'm worried about him, he said. End of this chapter.